Indra Dyumna, Markandeya, and Purushottama, Purushottama Kshetra. As per the Brahma Purana, there lived a king named Indradyumna in Satya Yuga. He was considered very powerful, equivalent to Indra. He was devoted to Vishnu. He wanted to install Vishnu's statue and worship him at an appropriate tirtha or kshetra, meaning a sacred place of pilgrimage. Tirtha means water, and thus the sacred place of pilgrimage must contain some water source like sea, river, pond, etc. Kshetra is also a sacred place of pilgrimage, but the water source is not a must. Most places of pilgrimage will have at least a pond for devotees to clean themselves. The king searched for all possible tirthas and finally found a place called Purushottama Kshetra. During the same period, a sage called Markandeya also wanted to install Shiva's statue at the same place, Purushottama Kshetra. Markandeya was also devoted to Vishnu. Markandeya wanted to show the world that Vishnu and Shiva are one and the same. Purusha in Purushottama Kshetra refers to both genders, male and female. Since Markandeya wanted to show that both genders are the same, the place must be called Purushottama Kshetra or Purushottama Kshetra. Probably the name has been distorted over the passage of time. These two stories are about the establishment of sexual organs in a fetus during embryonic development. Puranic stories were created in such a way that Vishnu always refers to the feminine gender and Shiva refers to the masculine gender. The sex of a baby is determined at the time of fertilization itself, but it is impossible to identify whether the fetus is a boy or a girl because the sex glands and organs look similar for both males and females at this early stage. A small bud develops between the legs, which later becomes the boy's penis or the girl's clitoris. On either side of this bud, two swellings emerge. If it is a boy, these two swellings grow together and form the scrotum. If it is a girl, a slit arises between these two swellings and develops into a vagina. The place where these developments take place is called Purushottama Kshetra in the Puranas. Purushottama Kshetra can be split into Purusha plus Ottramai plus Kshetra, where Purusha meaning both genders, male and female, and Ottramai meaning same, joint, or equal, agree to be in the same place called Kshetra. Satya Yuga may refer to the stage of fetus development. The full list of organs of a baby are developed in a guarded chamber called womb. Satya means truth, and it means possible if we say Satya. Truth is possible and untruth is impossible. Thus, Satya Yuga must be Satya Yuga, where everything is possible, and that is the period or duration of a fetus's organ development. Indradyumna and Purushottama, Purushottama Kshetra. Indradyumna's kingdom was called Malava, and its capital city was Avanti. Avanti was a beautiful and wealthy city, heavily fortified. Traders and travelers from all over visited the city. The citizens of Avanti were beautiful, pleasant, and happy. It was full of groves, ponds, and gardens of all kinds. These descriptions aptly fit the genital areas of both men and women. Indra and his wife Indrani both relate to human seminal fluid and secretions. Indra and Indradyumna are related names. Traders and travelers are the male sperm and other vaginal secretions which often visit or merge or come and go. This is the same Avanti where Urmila, Shyamala's mother, and Yama's mother-in-law lived before Shyamala's marriage to Yama. Urmila was tortured at Yamaloka since she had stolen from a master's house to feed her children. This refers to fetal blood circulation. When a woman conceives, fetal circulation is established. Nutrient absorption and gas exchange of the fetus is done through the placenta and umbilical cord. The blood, after this process, passes through the liver and into the human heart, where the blood is pumped into the lungs for another gas exchange. The Puranas interpret the absorption of nutrients as Urmila's stealing, and thus she was tortured or underwent the gas exchange process at the lungs, Yama's hell Naraka. There was a powerful Shiva temple in the city, and it was known as Mahakala. This refers to the spongy blood vessels and receive heavy blood flow for erection during sexual stimulation. The river Shipra flowed past the city. On the banks of the river, there were two temples of Vishnu known as Govindaswamy and Vikramaswamy. They may refer to the two testicles if it is a boy or two ovaries if it is a girl. Otherwise, this may refer to labia majora and labia minora, who are called Dwara Balaka. Indradyumna was not satisfied with these temples as a place to install Vishnu's statue, and he marched out of his country to look for a better place of worship. He arrived on the shores of Lavana Samudra after many days of travel. Lavana refers to the salty sea, and urine is also salty. Thus, it refers to the urinary passage or bladder. Mudra in the word Samudra also means urine. Samudra means sea or ocean. He found that the waves of the ocean seemed to be dancing. Lots of marine animals were visible and were the source for many jewels and ornaments. He decided to live there and found a suitable place surrounded by thick bushes, flowers, and fruit trees. Many birds gathered there from far off places to eat the fruit. The place was known as Purushottama Kshetra. Now many people consider the modern city of Puri as this place. Purushottama Kshetra was a very important tirtha, and its importance was hidden till the arrival of Indradyumna. There was a valid reason for it to be hidden. There was an image of Vishnu in that place. People used to worship the image, and all their sins were forgiven. Due to this, Yama could not punish any of the sinners. Yama begged Vishnu for a solution. Vishnu agreed to hide the statue so that it would not be visible for worship. Hence, its existence was blocked and hidden. This story relates to the establishment of fetal blood circulation. This circulation is a very special one for every fetus or unborn child, where the gas exchange does not take place at the lungs of the fetus but at the placenta and umbilical cord. Under normal circumstances, the blood circulation of a human being passes through the heart, lungs, and back to the heart. Blood from all parts go directly into the chambers of the heart, and from there is pumped into the lungs for gas exchange and to receive back the purified blood. The lungs where the gas exchange takes place is called Naraka. Vishnu is the personification of the female anatomy and is known to take care of the fetus or unborn child. Vishnu will be visible or actively present when a woman becomes pregnant and the fetus grows inside the womb. Even though the lungs are in place in a fetus, they will not function since they are immersed in amniotic fluid. Gas exchange, a vital function of the lungs, is taken care of by the placenta and umbilical cord. Thus, the Naraka, gas exchange at lungs, is not present in a fetus. When a woman is not pregnant, there is no fetal circulation and all gas exchanges takes place at the lungs only. Lungs come under the purview of Yama, and he is directly in control of the gas exchanges as a representative of the heart. Thus, the image of Vishnu was hidden at the request of Yama. Now, Indradyumna was going to establish a statue of Vishnu. In other words, there is going to be a conception and a fetus will come into being. Fetal blood circulation will be established as against adult human blood circulation. In a fetus's blood circulation, two organs play a role, the placenta and the umbilical cord. Indradyumna wanted to establish this new circulation as against the conventional one by installing the image of Vishnu. Even though Vishnu had promised Yama that he would hide his image at this place, he is now willing to help Indradyumna to establish his image for worship. This special treatment is given to Indradyumna for a fetus. There is a Tamil adage which says, when there is Hari Nama, uttering the name of Hari, Vishnu, no one need to fear about Yama. The reasoning for this old saying is explained in the above paragraph. All the kings and people were informed about Indradyumna's decision to build a temple for Vishnu. They came forward to assist in the temple construction. The kings of Kalinga, Utkala, and Koshala were the most important among these. They represent the procreative organs. Kalinga reminds us of the great Kalinga War of King Ashoka's, where thousands died. The story of King Ashoka is part of the anthropomorphism. The dead are none other than the groups of sperm trying to cross the vaginal passage to reach the single ovum. Thus, Kalinga refers to the passage. Polarena antidysenterica is called Kutaja in Ayurveda and has medicinal properties. It is also called Kalinga, Vatsika, and Giri Mallika in Sanskrit. The word Kuta can be found in Kalukata, the poison that came out while churning the Milky Ocean. This poison was drunk by Shiva. He became blue and is known as Nilakanta. Blue ball situation. Kala refers to Shiva and Yama, the personification of human blood. Kuta means kutai or pool, and thus Kalakuta means pool of blood. This blood pool occurs at the time of male or female sexual stimulation, which is known as blue ball, where the color of blood turns blue because of oxygen starvation. The female genital is known as Kalinga and the male genital is known as Linga. Asoka or Ashoka is a medicinal plant and its botanical name is Saraka indica. Since Asoka is connected to Kalinga, the medicinal properties of the Ashoka plant must also be related to genitals. Ut in Utkala means inside or inner in Tamil. The same word Ut means get up or stand up in Hindi. Kala refers to Shiva and blood. Thus, Utkala refers to inner or inside blood, which in turn refers to the erectile spongy tissues where blood will flow during sexual stimulation to sustain the erection. Ko in Koshala refers to the cow shed where the process of milking takes place. This process refers to Surabhi, secretion. Shala or Sala refers to a place or path. Thus, Koshala may mean secretion place or path which acts as conduit for secretions. Commonly, Koshala is known as cowshed. The temple was constructed without the statue of the presiding deity, Vishnu. Dyumna prayed to Vishnu for help, and he was directed to go to the shore to find a tree which is half in the water and half on the sand. He was told to cut down the tree to make the statue. Vishnu or Vishwakarma, architect of the gods, appeared in disguise as Brahmins while Dyumna was cutting down the tree and was about to slice it into two. The slice refers to the slit between the two swellings that appear in the genital region. Vishnu voluntarily offered his friend Vishwakarma's help to chisel the statue, and the offer was accepted by Dyumna. Vishwakarma relates to organogenesis activities in the human body. Vishwakarma created 3 statues out of the tree. These 3 statues are in relation to the female body, since Vishnu is always more closely related to the feminine gender. The first statue was that of Brahma, where the eyes were red and a snake held its hood over the head. This statue may refer to the clitoris and its hood. The second statue was that of Krishna, with eyes like a lotus. Krishna refers to the kidneys and related functions in both males and females. This statue with the lotus eye may refer to ovaries, ureter, and urinary outlet duct at the genitalia of the fetus. The third statue was that of Subhadra, sister of Krishna. Krishna's sister, Su plus Bhadra, may refer to the vaginal passage in a female body. Why is Subhadra known as the vaginal passage? Subhadra is the wife of Arjuna, son of Indra, and he refers to the male genital. So, Subhadra must be the vaginal passage to show off their marital relationship. Su can be found in Sugam, which means pleasure and comfort. Su can be found in Sukha Prasavam, which means comfortable vaginal delivery. Su can be found in Shukra or Shukla, which means the vaginal discharge which maintains pleasure and makes a comfortable passage for sperms. Shukra refers to the planet Venus, which is known for its volcanic activities that emit lava. All these 3 statues correctly make or create a female genital. It is to be noted that seminal fluid and urine will pass through the same duct at least from midway, for a male. There are no separate outlets for urine and seminal discharges for them, as with females. This is one of the major differences between the male and female genitalia. Indradyumna soon realized that the Brahmins were Vishnu and Vishwakarma. He asked for their blessings, and the statues were installed in the temple in the presence of Vishnu and Vishwakarma. The temple is known as Jagannatha. Jagam means world or universe, and Nathan means Lord. Hence, they consider Vishnu as the Lord of the universe. The world or universe is filled with people who flow, Tara, or come into existence in this world or universe from female procreative organs. Vishnu, as the personification of the human digestive and endocrine system, is the guardian for all births and is thus the Lord of this world or universe. Today, this ancient temple is situated in the city of Puri in Orissa. Puri must be the short form for Purushottama Kshetra. The Indian state of Orissa has adopted the story of Purushottama Kshetra as its own and continue to celebrate it as its own festival. Non-Hindus are strictly not allowed into this temple. Being the female genital, vagina, only seminal fluids must be allowed to enter, which is known as Indriyam, Indu. The temple is built with Kalinga architecture. The main gate of the temple is called Singadwara or Lion Gate. Singa is equal to lion, Dwara is equal to hole. The lion or Simhamukha is a personification of the uterus. There are two guardian deities at the entrance, Jaya and Vijaya, which are the names of two medicinal plants. Jaya and Vijaya are also known as the gatekeepers of Vaikuntha. They are the companions of Parvati. They are called Dwara Balakas in some places. Jaya's botanical name is Abutilon avicenna, Gayson. Another plant is called Sarvajaya, Kamakshi, and its botanical name is Canna indica, Lin. Yet another plant is called Shirpurnajaya, and its botanical name is Viburnum foetidum, Wall. There is also another plant called Jaya, which is known as Abutilon asiaticum, and its medicinal properties are not known. Yet another plant is called Jayanti, which is known as Sesbiana aculeata, and it is the favorite food of cattle, especially sheep and goats. Female reproductive organs are referred to in relation to cows, sheep, and goat, and the Jayanti plant may be of some benefit to those female organs. Jayanti Veda or Dagadi Pala, Tridax procumbens L, is another plant that may be useful here. Vijaya's Siddhapatri botanical name is Cannabis sativa, Lin. Another plant is also called Vijaya, and its botanical name is Terminalia chebula. Other Sanskrit names for this plant are Patya, Sudha, Haritaki, Abhaya, Vayastha, Amrita, Haimayadi, and Jivanti. Jaya and Vijaya are also known as Madhu and Kaitab. Jaya and Vijaya are cannabises. Madhu means nectar in Sanskrit and liquor in Tamil. Sugar molasses is the basis for the manufacture of spirits or liquor. Thus, Madhu and Kaitab are also related to cannabis and liquor, which destabilizes normal functions temporarily. Normally, the cells at the vaginal passage will not allow aliens to move into it, but the secretion of certain hormones destabilize it temporarily, allowing sperm to pass the canal. Ladies known as Madhu in Tamil are meant to take the opposite sex off guard. Vishnu is called Madhusudana, being the killer of the demon, Madhu, which is incorrect. Madhu means liquor. Su means sugam or easy, glib or smooth, and Dana means seed. Thus, Madhusudana means easy or smooth passage for the sperm, seed, due to unstable conditions because of liquor. There is a memorial column known as Aruna, which faces the main gate called Singadwara. According to Puranic stories, Aruna and Garuda are two sons of Vinata, daughter of Daksha, and one of the wives of Kashyapa, who are considered hormones and enzymes. Aruna may be hormones with duct, and Garuda may be hormones without duct. Aruna is sometimes known as a snake. Varuna is known as the god of rain, also closely related to liquid substances. These are the vaginal secretions which create a friendly atmosphere for the sperm entry. Tiruvannamalai in Tamil Nadu as a temple, and the deity there is Arunachaleshwara, Aruna, hormones, and Ishvara, blood. We are aware that hormones and enzymes sometimes drain into the blood. Apart from Indra Dyumna, there was another king called Shweta who also constructed a temple for Vishnu at Purushottama Kshetra. The temple was known as the Shweta Madhava temple. The statue installed at the temple was as white as the moon. The story of King Shweta is available in the Brahma Purana. The people of his kingdom lived long years and no child ever died in his kingdom. Unfortunately, the son of a sage called Kapala Gautama died as an infant. The sage brought the dead body to the king's court and demanded justice. King Shweta was worried and told the sage that if he could not bring back the life of his son, he would self-immolate, taking responsibility for the tragedy. The king then prayed to Shiva, offering him lotus flowers. Shiva appeared before him and granted the boon of bringing the sage's infant back to life. The story of King Shweta refers to the establishment of ovaries and its contents called ova. Millions of female eggs called ova are created at the time of fertilization if the baby is a female. The germ cells, ova, that have been created in this fashion will germinate periodically and will be released one by one every month once the female baby attains puberty. The monthly ovum that is released on ovulation is capable of fertilization on union with sperm. But for male, the germ cell called sperm is not created once in a lifetime, like the female ova, but is produced continuously and periodically. The female ovarian follicles are dormant up to a certain period and then release at the command of the pituitary gland, which is known as Shiva. The lotus flower is connected to Lakshmi and female procreative organs, specifically ovaries. The dormant status of the ovarian follicles is referred to as the death of sage Kapala Gautama's son. Kapala normally means skull, which refers to longevity and its connection to triggering the procreative organs. Kapala is very closely associated with Shiva. The long lifespans of the citizens of King Shweta's kingdom refer to the longevity of the ovarian follicles. The word go in Gautama refers to the cow, which is associated with female procreative organs that secrete, which are known as surabhi. The word tama refers to tamare, which is lotus. Connected to Lakshmi, Kapala, Miraika nagi is a plant also known as Katphala. Sacred to Shiva and Sakti, who are closely related to human procreative organs and activities. It is also known as Ramapatri, Sri Parnika, Bhadra, and Kumudika, where Sri refers to Lakshmi, female procreative organ, and Bhadra refers to duct or channel. Cocculus subrosus is also known as Kapala. The temple constructed by King Shweta is called Shweta Madhava, where Mada or Mata refers to secretion or flow. Ma means and refers to big or origin, and Ta refers to flow. Thus, the temple of Shweta Madhava refers to the ovaries from which ovum flows into the stream periodically. There is a plant called Shweta Kutaja, whose botanical name is Reichia tomentosa. The plant is also known as Nerium tomentosa. It is also known as Palai and Kutaja, Olerena antidysentrica. The relationship of Shweta Kutaja, female anatomy, and Kutaja of male anatomy may establish the similarities of sponge tissues where blood, Shiva, will surge in to sustain an erection at the time of sexual stimulation. The plant Shweta Kutaja, Reichia tomentosa, may be useful for ovaries. Presently, the plant is used for snake bite. Nerium tomentosa is used for snake bite and for some menstrual disorders. Brahma Purana also contains another story about Shweta. In this story, Shweta is known as a Brahmin, where Brahmin refers to germ cell, possibly the ovum. In the earlier story, he was known as a king who used to control his subjects, ovum, referring to the ovaries, where millions of ova are located. Shweta and sage Gautama were friends and were living on the banks of Gautami Ganga, the place in the spinal cord which controls the release of ovum from ovaries on the command from the thalamus area of the brain, which belongs to Shiva. Shweta, the devotee of Shiva, died as a normal person. As usual Yamaduttas, messengers of Yama came down to take the life of Shweta to Yamaloka. Chitragupta, Chitraka, the celestial accountant at Yama's court, observed that the Yamaduttas who went out to bring back the life of Shweta had not returned for a long time. Chitragupta informed his boss, Yama, who asked Mrityu, his companion, to investigate. When Mrityu went to Shweta's house, he found the Yamaduttas standing in front of the house. They told him that they could not enter the house as Shiva was guarding the body of Shweta. Mrityu tried to snap the life of Shweta despite Shiva's presence, and Mrityu was killed by Shiva. When Yama got the news, he came down to Shweta's house. A big fight broke out between Yama and Shiva. Nandi, Ganesha, and Kartikeyan fought on Shiva's side. During the battle, Yama was killed by Kartikeyan. All the other gods came to meditate. Shiva cooled down and agreed to bring back to life all those who were killed in the battle. Yama also agreed for Shweta to go to Svarga instead of Naraga. This story is similar to the story of Markandeya and Yama. The story narrates the incidences of fertilization and the establishment of fetal blood circulation. The Brahmin, Shweta, refers to the ovum and his death signifies the change in the ovum. When the ovum, germ cell, is released from the ovary, it is single and unfertilized. When the sperm, Kartikeyan, penetrates the ovum, it amounts to fertilization. Nandi, sexual stimulation, and Ganesha, scrotum and testes, play a big role in sending Kartikeyan, sperm, to the premises of Shweta, ovum. Yama, being the representation of the heart, is responsible for the gas exchanges in the respiratory system, where carbon dioxide in the blood is exchanged for oxygen from the fresh air. The area where this process takes place is called Naraka. Once fertilization is confirmed, a new blood circulation is established inside the human body, which is known as fetal circulation, Svarga. Fetal blood circulation does not pass through the lungs of an unborn child. Yama can do his job without anybody's interference once the fetus moves out of the womb. Thus, his life is brought back from the dead. The story of Brahmin Shweta precedes the story of Dyumna. Guarding by Shiva signifies the control exercised by the thalamus area of the brain. Apart from Shweta Kutaja, there are more plants named Shweta or Shweta. They are listed below. These plants may be useful to the ovaries, their constituents, and related functions. Shweta musali, Chlorophytum tuberosum. This is also known as Safed musali and widely used in Ayurvedic medicines as a wonder drug for strength and vigor. Shweta shalmali, Ceiba pendantra or Eriodendron anfractuosum. This is also known as kapak or silk cotton. The tree produces seed pods which contain seeds surrounded by fluffy fiber known as silk cotton, used for filling or stuffing mattresses, pillows, upholstery, etc., which is highly inflammable and water resistant. A ripe seed pod bursts open and its seeds are thrown far for further germination and growth. During ovulation, the ovarian follicle ruptures and discharges or throws ovum, is captured by the fimbria, which allows it to participate in reproduction. During the process of ovulation, a hole called stigma forms in the ovarian follicle and the ovum leaves the follicle through this stigma. Shweta, Cynodon dactylon, also known as Granthi, Durva or Durva, and Bhargavi. This plant is also connected to puberty. Sage Durvasa is connected to pubertal development and odor. Shweta Kamala, Nilambium speciosum, also known as Pankacha, Padma, Chatapatra, Kamala, Tamara, and Induvara. This plant is related to female procreative organs. Sveta Kamini, Herpestis monera, also known as Brahmi, Jalabrahmi, and Mandugi. Kama refers to sex, sexual, or procreative activities. Sveta Kanchan, Bahuniare smosa, is presently used as cattle feed. Its leaves are used in medicinal preparations for headaches and malaria. Sveta Muruga, Amaranthus polygamous, is also known as coxcomb. Coxcomb refers to the fimbria, which floats on top of ovaries to catch the expelled ova from the ovaries. Sveta Pushpa, Nerium odorum, is also known as Karavira, Ashwamaraka, and Rakpushpa. Sveta Sarisha, Brassica alba or Siddhartha, Eruca sativa, also known as white mustard. Siddhartha is another name for Buddha, which means birth flow. Sveta Barbura, Acacia leucophylla. Sveta Brihati Veda, Solanum tovum swartz. Sveta Surasa, Vitex negundo, is also known as Nirgundi, Vrikshada, and Sindhuvaram. Sveta Vacha or Haimavati, Paris Palifila SM. Thus, one part of the fetal genital development, female, is discussed and understood. Let us move on to the other part, male. Markandeya and Purushottama, Purusha Uttamai, Kshetra. Sage Markandeya is well known in Puranic stories. He is specially known for his evergreen stature. Why is that so? Mark or Mart of Markandeya can be found in another character, Martanda, who is also called Surya or son of God. Mart means not dead, and that is why Markandeya is known as evergreen. He is a personification of the male sperm and related substances. These cells can create offspring. Thus, the evergreen stature is attached to Markandeya. Since Indra Dyumna was used as a character to explain the establishment of female genitals, sage Markandeya was used as a character to explain the establishment of male genitals, especially sperm production, in the same place as Indra Dyumna. The story of sage Markandeya is as follows. There was a great destruction, Pralaya, which took place many years ago. Sage Markandeya was deep in meditation without realizing the destruction going on around him. There was a big fire, but the fire was afraid to touch him. Finally, something in the atmosphere disturbed him and made him open his eyes. He saw there was fire all over the place, but there was a banyan tree nearby which had not been touched by the fire at all. He took shelter under the tree and started to pray to Vishnu. Thereafter, it started raining, and it rained continuously for 12 years, and the earth was flooded. Markandeya was floating on the water, but continued praying to Vishnu. He heard a voice, but did not realize that the voice belonged to Vishnu. Later, on seeing a boy floating on water, he realized that the voice was that of Vishnu's. The boy asked Markandeya to take refuge by entering his body. Markandeya entered the small boy's body through the boy's mouth and saw the entire world inside. Markandeya prayed again to Vishnu without knowing what to do inside. Suddenly, he came out of the mouth and saw Vishnu standing there. Vishnu blessed him and granted a boon to Markandeya to build a temple for Shiva in Purusha Uttamai Kshetra. It is said that the boon was given to Markandeya since he wanted to prove to the world that both Vishnu and Shiva are the same. While it's true they are the same for a while, they are not so as Vishnu in the personification of female and Shiva as the personification of male. If both are the same, then this universe is doomed. There will be no procreation, no rebirth, no reincarnation, no Svarga and no Naraga. Markandeya built a temple for Shiva and it was called Bhuvaneshwara. Bhu plus Vana plus Ishwara is equal to birth plus forest plus blood. This may also refer to sperm production, which flows in abundance during sexual stimulation and is ejaculated during copulation. We understood that two swellings grow and form the scrotum if the baby is a boy. Now the scrotum must get its testicles, which are located deep inside the abdominal cavity. The testicles must produce sperm, the evergreen product in male anatomy. Markandeya was born to his parents through Shiva Tapasya. Shiva also granted a boon by which Markandeya would be strong and powerful but would die at the young age of 16. Thus, he is commonly known as always 16. This boon of 16 is not correct and it must be 10-6, which means 60, 10 times 6. There is a reason for this. As per Shiva's boon that Markandeya would die at a young age, Yama came to take his life at a specified time. But Markandeya embraced Shiva's linga and immersed himself in prayer. Yama threw the rope of death on Markandeya, but by mistake, it fell on Shiva and incurred his wrath. A battle between Shiva and Yama followed, in which, eventually, Yama was killed. This incident is said to have happened at Tirukadayur Temple, Tamil Nadu. Normally, people go to this temple to perform Sashtiyapta Purti on completion of 60 years of age while married and renew their vows again to live long. This 60th year is now attached to the Tamil calendar, and every Tamil New Year is known by the name from the list of 60. After 60 years, the names repeat. Actually, these 60 names are there to indicate the status of a man's sperm and seminal fluid for a period of 60 years from his birth. The name for the 60th year in Akshaya, meaning beggar. Seminal fluid and sperm will be scarce by this age, and the ancient medical texts recommend putting an end to procreative activities. Women's procreative activities stop with menopause.